guys? We are here with episode 9 of PSSITA Podcast. Today we have a special guest, but before I mention his name, I'm going to let my co-host, Mike Frazier, introduce.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of PSSITA Podcast. Season finale. And it's going to be a good episode for sure. You know, good friend of mine. I was getting a lot of slack in the comments past, episodes. Got to establish more protocol. We had too many Kappas in the building. So we had to go on, establish the protocol, get back in the right frame of things. And, we got my frat brother, my friend, mentor, a lot of titles, but just tell y'all who he is, a very serial entrepreneur here in the city of Nashville, Tennessee State alum, a member of the Mighty Roadside chapter of Omega Psi Phi, line of 98. My friend, owner of Guidance Whiskey, founder of Guidance Enterprises, Mr. Jason Ridgel.
Thank you, gentlemen.
What's going on, man?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so you know how we always start off most of our days, me and you. It'd be a shot of war, but today we're gonna start off with our own toast. Tennessee's finest.
Let's do it.
Reverence Bourbon. So we're gonna always pay homage.
Pay homage.
Yeah.
Delicious. Delicious.
Yeah, man named Bart made that, man.
I know, Bartholomew, right?
Yeah.
Bourbon Bart.
Yeah.
From the Memphis clan.
Oh yeah.
It's good, man.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Bourbon Bart is yours truly. He came with that name for me, so man, that's where Bourbon Bart came from.
Man was wearing a bow tie in the summer. In the summertime, that's all I'm gonna say. I was like,
hey, before we get started though, man, I'd like to, since this is episode 9, I want to give a big shout out to Monte Cristo for hosting us here in this fantastic place.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And providing us with the smokes for the day. It's the Monte Cristo. We'll get into it later, man, but we want to definitely appreciate Monte Cristo for providing us the facility, providing us with the smokes, and man, it's great atmosphere to put some smoke in there, have a great conversation.
PSSITA.
Yes, PSSITA. Put some smoke in the air.
Put some smoke in the air.
One of the things I know, man, I wanted to first ask you, what got you into entrepreneurship?
Man, that's a good question. You know what I thought you was going to say? What made you want to start a whiskey company? And I was like,
that's on down the road.
But that's what everybody asks us, right?
Yeah.
Everybody asks us that. But that's actually really a better question because guidance is just a part of the entrepreneurship, right? That's just one of many things that I've done over the years. And entrepreneurship, I think I've been in it since I was a kid. Like I was one of them kids that sold candy at school. You know what I'm saying? When I came to TSU, we was giving people ride to Walmart. All the kids that didn't have a car, my homeboy had a car.
Yeah.
So you could either give us gas money and we'll take you to Walmart, or you could send a list and we'll come back with your stuff. And we put a little tax on it.
Yeah.
We used to say for a small fee. And so I think entrepreneurship has always been in me, but where it was personified, when my first year at TSU, I had a homeboy named 3 whose dad lived in San Diego, California. And we went to San Diego, California on spring break. And there's a place called Pacific Beach. They call it PB. And there's a place called Connoisseurs that we used to go for breakfast every morning because it was like $6 breakfast or whatever. And I remember, and we had partied all night. We had been to Tijuana. We was getting it in. So we weren't coming back till like 4 a.m. It was a Tuesday. And it was about 9 a.m. And we sitting out eating breakfast at this place called Connoisseurs. And the beach is full of people. It's full of people. Full of people running, jogging, walking. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself is like, what do they do? How do they make money? Mm-hmm. Like, it's 9 and we were there to 10, 11, and the beach never never changed.
Right.
And these weren't tourists. These are people that live here. And that sparked something in me to say, I want to be able to live like that. That on a Tuesday, I can be at 10 a.m., I can either be going for a run, I can be walking on the beach, I can be doing a podcast. And that never left me. So I wanted to craft my life around that.
Okay. Now, I know at one point in time you had a business, or you still have a business, some American Dream Cars, or?
Oh, Music City Dream Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the businesses I bought into when I came. I was in LA for 10 years. And when I was coming back to the city, Frazier will tell you this, like there's businesses that are for making money, and then there's businesses that are for show, there's businesses that are for fun, there's all types of businesses. And so introducing myself back to Nashville, I came back and visited a bunch of times, and that was a business that was flourishing, that was exciting. And so I ended up buying into that. And I don't know nothing about cars. And I never lied about it, right? I never lied about it. But being around that, you get it through osmosis. Like, so I started to regurgitate the things I would hear the guys saying about whips. And that was actually, having a front-facing business actually propelled me into different circles and things that I would have never seen. So sometimes you can buy your way into a different circle, but you buy your way in through with the work. You know what I mean? So that was an exciting time. Anybody in the city who know what Music City Dream Cars was.
I do remember when I first started coming here to Casa, you used to have a box here.
I did have a box here. Yeah, but that was also through relationship.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I smoke cigars every now and then, but I meet people all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So any place that gathers people, and then good people and the people that I want to know, you're gonna see me frequent that space. And Casa at the time, and prior to this day, like I'm watching all the people that y'all know and stuff. This was a great place for that.
Exactly.
So what I do, I invest.
Yeah. So shout out to Casa, man. A lot of things happening in the cigar bar. A lot of relationships. You know, a lot of business. So I'm gonna echo the same thing because you was a part of how I started my business, right? And when I tell the story, I tell everybody I had to see somebody that looked like me do it, and in my own backyard, I had somebody that looked like me that was doing it. So this conversation, I know a lot of people that know me and Jay, know me and you, they want to hear this one-on-one on camera because a lot of people speculate, a lot of people, guess, man, is he this, is he that? So let's start.
I own your company, don't I?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like,
the perception.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
own your company. I think didn't I give you $2 million or something?
Something like that. And
something to put into it, you know what I'm saying?
I was getting salary from God and just to work my way up. Yeah, all that. So
yeah,
we want to hash all that out,
Okay.
And so let's start with when we first met. Because the beginning was the liquor, but we started to do other things till we got to that point. So
and to this day, that's still the
still
thing.
Here. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you came to holler at me, and to this day, I'm gonna tell you, there's not a person that has come to me on a business tip that has put in the work that Frazier put in. And you see it flourishing now because my mama always said you'll know him by the fruit.
Yeah.
That's how you know. When he came to me, man, we were talking through it and he said he wanted to do a whiskey or bourbon. We kind of talked about it. And he came to me at a time, I think I had only been in business a year, if that, right? So I didn't even have, I launched in 2018. I had been working on it a few years before that, but the product had only been on the market, I think, less than a year. So I had answers to give, but I didn't have all the answers. So with him, I'm like, bro, you're gonna have to learn some of this with me. Now, to somebody who come into somebody who thinks that they got it all together, that ain't what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? That's you like, nah, bro, you own, you got it. You tell me so I can do it. And I looked him in the face, I was transparent. It's like, bro, some of this stuff I'm still learning. And what he did was not only say, cool, I'll learn, but then he lended his talents and ability to helping me grow. And that is the magic of what you seeing to this day. That's what y'all seeing today. Is the work. We develop a friendship. Brotherhood was already there. But the friendship part, that's our code that we live by to this day. That's why nothing is ever hard for us. Everything is split. We both put our energy, our time. The stuff that he don't have that I have, now he has. Stuff that he has that I don't have, now he has. And everybody gets to enjoy that. I'm watching y'all do the same thing. You know what I mean? That's how I know that it worked, because this relationship took to that relationship. I didn't know you, and now I do.
Right.
And now we doing this together.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so everybody know that the name Reverence didn't come out of that conversation. Something else did. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to go on the record and say I probably made you the most money off that one product in like a 90-day span. So
for sure.
For those that, we have a non-profit together called Hydrate the Hood. So tell them how we got to that point and, what caught your eye when you saw like, this guy, he can do this. You know what I'm saying?
So there's a cup called the pH9 generator that alkalizes water without a filter. And I met the gentleman that created that. I had met him a few years back when I was living in California. And he ended up giving me the technology. I did some mission trips to Africa and all that stuff, and he contacted me. He's like, hey, look, I want to give you this technology. I want to give you these cups. And the only thing that I ask that you do is to continue to do the work that you've been doing and helping people. And I was like, wow, because I had never had somebody be like, here, you know what I mean? Here you go. I'm gonna pour into you. And so with that, the best way to do it was like we were trying to give back. It's to form a nonprofit to do, but that wasn't my wheelhouse, right? And it's a product. He was a bodybuilder, so everything that had to do with the body, he's a scientist. So that was really why he created the cup. Right, is to help bodybuilders, like help with atrophy, help them get their protein into their body quicker, all those things. But it's alkaline. So when Frazier came to see me, we having a full-on whiskey bourbon conversation and at my office, and the cups are sitting right there. And he was like, hey, what's that? And usually when you have it coming from California, alkaline at the time was really big. Like people were using Kangen water. They were putting those, installing the things in their home. It's like it's like a $3,000 or $4,000
osmosis machine.
Yeah, all of that stuff. They was putting in their houses. Well, this cup was $40, and it lasts 2 years. I was going into explaining about alkaline, and he like, oh, I know about that. And then he started telling me about how he worked at the Y, he worked in the community, like he trained people, all that stuff. And you can tell he looked like he worked out every day.
Yeah.
At that time, you know what I'm saying? And
in my prime.
I went to work out with this dude one time. I'll never do it again. I'm talking about never do it, never.
It wasn't that bad.
You couldn't pay me to do it. I hurt for 3 days, dog. But I mean, he just, Frazier. He looked at it. I told him about it. He asked me what I wanted for it. He was like, oh, I can get them off. Now, I had heard so many people say, I can do this, I can do that. And I give at that time, not now. I was giving everybody a shot, right? Like, okay, cool. Dude took these cups. My cash out was going cling, 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 cling. I had to turn the notification off, y'all. I was like, what is this? What is he doing?
Yeah.
What is he? But you know what he did? He took it to the places that he knew. But then this dude done assembled a street team. He done assembled it. He done took the work, broke it down, gave it to his people. So now I'm seeing the cups when I say everywhere, I'm seeing them everywhere. Then the videos started coming in, the testimonials of the people whose lives was changing. Then we was like, okay, we might as well form a nonprofit. And the name Hydrate the Hood, I mean, all of our stuff comes from things like this. Sitting around.
Matter of fact, we was smoking cigars.
Talking about water. Like, we're going to hydrate the hood. I'm like, that's a name. And got the logo. When got the nonprofit started, and we 4 years?
4 years.
4 years in. But the thing with all that, man, we were doing the work before that. We knew it was important before that. We knew that selling the cups to the people that understood the technology made sense, and that allowed us to give it to the people who didn't. Because even if you don't understand health and wellness, you still need it.
Right.
So, I mean, I think to this day, we probably were like 5,000 to 10,000 cups that we've given away in 4 or 5 different states. We've been to schools. We work with NFL teams. We've done a lot through this process, and that's just, I don't know if that's in everybody. You know what I mean? I really don't. I think people do have the ability,
right?
But there's something about coming into a situation wanting knowledge, but then knowing that you have knowledge in other things and sharing that and helping the whole situation grow. And I think if I looked at what guidance really is, that's really what it is, a two-way street.
It's funny that you say that, because that's where I was going to go with this. I know Mike gets this all the time, but I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you ever get that person that, has seen you out here in the streets? Hey, man, how can I get my liquor going?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I tell people to call me, because I'm a gate opener. Like, especially for the spirits business, man. Like, this, and this is important, I say this on camera, like, all these Black-owned spirits that you see won't be here in 5 years if we don't stop gatekeeping and actually really understand that this is a shift in a culture of something that hasn't been here. Like, I wasn't the first, but I definitely am in the freshman class of people that did this in this country. And I've said this on camera before, like, you're not safe by yourself. A conglomerate can come into any space and say, hey, man, if you serve this, we're not going to give you this. And then force those businesses to make a quote-unquote business decision. And if people if they not secure in their product, or they just not, if they need that revenue, it don't matter how much they like you. They're going to tell you, man, look, man, I like you, Jay. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta take care of my family, dog, so I gotta go. And we've been forced to make them decisions in business over history, and we still doing it today. So yeah, I want to see as many brands in the market as I can. So I help.
So with that being said, I'm gonna say it first on here. I've already been talking to Mike about coming out with a spirit. Yes, I have a cigar business with my business partner, but we've been having discussions about, and people that know me, they know I don't really drink like that, but I do drink occasionally. But it's been in the back of my mind that, man, I want to try to come out with a spirit, because at the end of the day, if it don't work, it don't work.
It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
So I'm saying it right now on episode 9 of PSSITA Podcast. I will be coming out with a spirit in the next 2 to 3 years, if not soon.
It's gonna be quicker than that. It's gonna be way quicker than that. But that's good, and I applaud you for it because we need it, and it fits. It's called layering, right, in business, right? It's like you're on the PSSITA Podcast, you're wearing a rolling humidor hat and shirt while at Monte Cristo smoking a Monte Cristo. It's the layering of the things that you do in business, right? So if you gonna be drinking, even if it's once in a while, why would you not be drinking your own stuff or your friend's stuff? When I dropped guidance, they was like, I remember it's in an article somewhere. They're like, what's your plan? Like, what's your goal? What would you love to see? And I said, by 20, what was it 20? I think by 2021, I said I only want to be drinking my friend's liquor. And it's 2024, and I got a whole bunch of friends with liquors.
We have a whole bunch of friends.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of friends that got their own alcohol. So I could drink for the rest of my life and never touch a mainstream anything.
And to, pivot from there, for those that don't know, me and you have an alliance. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously it's an alliance, but actual spirit alliance. So as the president and the sitting treasurer, would you please expound, Mr. President, on the Tennessee Minority-Owned Wine and Spirits Association?
Yeah, T. Mauser, Tennessee Minority-Owned Wine and Spirits Association is the first of its kind, and it brought together all of the brands in Tennessee under one roof to further ideas, communication, resources, to build our brands, but also to have a place, have our casa, right? Like our place where we can talk about the troubles and the things that we go through and the things that only somebody else in the industry will care about, right? Like when I'm talking about barrel prices, if I'm talking to somebody not in the industry, they just like, yeah, dang, that's crazy, dog. Yeah. You couldn't get no corks. Oh, wow. That's tough. But when you can share it with your peers and then also formulate ideas and strategies to move all of us forward, that was very, very important to me. And I hope other states and groups copy that. Because when we together, man, there's just something about being together that's unstoppable to me. On the one mind, when you have that sameness mindset, it's powerful. So we have a vodka, we have wine, we have tequilas, we have Memphis represented, Nashville represented, you got TSU represented, MTSU represented, Tennessee Tech represented, all of those things in this one thing.
And Mezcal. So we're very well versed in the spirit space, and don't have any beer yet,
but we will.
We don't have a rum yet, but we will. Sparkling water, but we will. So it's not just wine and spirits, but it just be in the beverage industry because, like you said, you're not safe alone.
You don't want to find out the hard way.
Don't want to find out the hard way. I can speak from when I got behind you, the troubles of like getting distribution, filling POs and breaking in the market. Talk about when you first started, how you broke down those barriers for like guys like myself, other brands, and like what you had to go through, to get to work, how guidance is now. Because I saw you.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, no.
But
that's part. I think that's and when I'm looking at 2025, I think a lot of folks have forgot about that part. That we went to 200 stores, and by we I mean me. That I walked into places where the owners wouldn't even talk to me. Where I leave my card and looking through the window, I see them throw it in the trash. Like that was real. And that was the only way to do this business, was to walk into a place, introduce yourself, tell them about your stuff, let them drink it, and then remind them after that to carry it, because we sell a product that no liquor store needs or no bar needs. They already got 150 bottles of stuff up there that they've already been selling. So to convince somebody to try your stuff is either because they like you, they love your product, but it's the number one reason is they think they can make money off of it, right?
Correct.
Because it's funny because people always ask the story, right? You know, when you're crafting the spirit, they always say the story. Story, you need a good story. You need a really good story. And I believe that, but I also know that you need something else. Because after you tell that amazing story and it grabs them in and they're like, wow, you know, the very next question they ask, Corey, what's the price?
Exactly.
That's the next thing they say is, what's the price? I was like, I just told you a story. It could be, you know what I'm saying? But they want to know. And then you tell them that price and they always want it lower. Because now their business mind is kicked in. So your business mind had to kick in from the beginning. So we make our products, when you look at mine and Mike's for sure, like you're getting a premium product and you're getting it at a fair cost. Because that's baked in. We already know when you get it. It's worth actually more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we want it to be accessible. I had a dude drink guidance the other day, and he was like, all right, man, how much it did? $300 a bottle. I was like, man, $49.99. He was like, sold. He was like, sold. But that's because, and he's a whiskey drinker. He's drank whiskeys and bourbons from all over the world. He didn't even see the bottle. He just saw it in the glass. And so off taste alone, he was like, oh, man, this finna be what you finna hit me for. So we put those things into what we do. But we've had to go into places and deal with managers that say they're gonna do stuff and then don't. Or you deal with managers that are here today and fired tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you got this great relationship, you've been doing all this work, doing these events, and then the person who you've been dealing with ain't there no more. And a new person looking at you like, who are you?
Right.
We had some real big accounts that happened with. And there's no way to overcome it but to do the actual work. And like I can't go back enough to how Frazier did the work like this. How many whiskeys and bourbons did you taste in a year?
Shit, in one setting, I know for a fact, about 200. And it's a picture floating around. Was at your house, you know, out east.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole kitchen table with just samples. I'm talking about like small little, you know, shooters. They all not the same. You got like rye, you got wheat, you got corn, you got barrel, you got cask strength, you know, you got white whiskey. Those that don't know, whiskey stars are white. You got white whiskey. You got what else we had? Like Irish, Indian.
Yeah, every type of.
We had every type of on the table, and we just tasted.
Yep.
And like that's how you get to great products. You know what I'm saying? Trial and error, because at the end of the day, I know I've said this before, but you can say it too. You got to get that preparation and that taste right. You just can't put anything in a bottle because the initial you paying up front. So if your product fail, that's the loss right there.
The L is acquired.
You know what I'm saying? So talk about your tasting process to get guys to taste as great as it tastes.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so guidance, man, the one thing about us, man, that we are able to do that I really love is we able to grow. Like, so the guidance that people tasted when we first started is not the guidance that you taste now. Now, people who are new to guidance will love the new taste that we have. The people who've been with us for a long time, they actually can taste the different ones. And we talk about that. Talk about, okay, did you like this? Did you like that? Some people like So being an artisan, you get to play with your product. You know what I mean? And we don't mass produce it. So we don't have to, like, the way, Jack, like, you can pour all of it into one thing. That's how they get that same taste. But for us, it's going to taste different. It's going to taste a little bit different over time. This new batch we have, I added wheat to it. Because at one point in time, I remember weeded whiskeys was the rage, right? Like a couple years ago. And I tasted, I didn't like full weeded, but I did like a part of how it rounded and balanced out the blend. So we tried that, and it's amazing.
What batch are you on currently?
We are on now. So this is a cool thing. We eliminated batches. So if you have 1 through 6, a bottle of guidance that has a batch number on it and a born on date, keep that bottle because we'll never make those again. Now that we doing over 10,000 bottles, we took the batch numbers off. So, but it's our runs. This is probably our 10th run.
And then also, outside of your guidance whiskey, don't you have a cocktail?
Cocktail.
Well, you have some I've seen in a can.
You talking
Tippers.
Tippers. He did his research. Because we had Tippers out a long time. So Tippers, when RTDs came on the scene, right, we being innovative in this space is one of the things that I pride myself on.
It's paramount.
Yeah.
It's paramount.
Being innovative is that. And I was watching Ready to Drinks come on the scene, and I was like, we definitely need to have one. I'm not a fan of the like the seltzer water ones and all of that stuff. So we made one with guidance, and we did call it Tippers. And it came from our whisk tea, which is guidance, whiskey, and Tim's Southern tea, which actually we'll be putting that blend on the market later this year. All right, we'll finally just be dropping the whisk tea. But Tippers was our first attempt at trying to artificially create what that tastes like. And it was two shots per can. I think it was like 16% alcohol or something like that in a V8 can. So it still it was high. But
you're gonna get that shot.
And it gets you there.
Yeah.
But it tastes great. What we realized is I test everything for the most part. Like I gotta see, and it's not about what people like, it's about what people buy. So in that canning process, we did a run of them, and to make the boxes, the cans, and all that stuff, it was very, very expensive. And the profit margin on canned drinks is like 33 cents, 33 to 50 cents a can. You know what I mean? So we was gonna bring it to the market. One thing I also learned too, and Frazier can tell you this, like even when you do your brand, you'll need to know this because all people want to know the initial investment. It's not that expensive to actually get a whiskey, right, or whatever spirit you choose. The most money you're gonna spend is in marketing and getting eyes on your product. And so if you don't have a system or a way to do that naturally or built in, you haven't, then it's not going to fail, but that's going to make it go slower. So when I looked at trying to get a ready to drink out into the United States, I was looking really at a $250,000 marketing budget just to get it in all the right places. So we kind of sat back on it a little bit. We still have a few of them left, but and now I'm watching the way that the industry is going now, and we want to be prepared for that. RTDs are still there, but you know what's really coming next is mocktails. Right? You have a whole population of people that don't drink at all, but that like the thing. So stay tuned for that side of what we coming through next.
Okay.
Because I think what people don't realize is that beverages, you hear this thing called margins. And, this is an education piece. Before guidance hits the shelf, when they buy for their $49.99. the perception is you get
$49.99. Yes.
What little do people know is
$14. I'm gonna tell you. $14. So if you bought 100 bottles of guidance, I would get $1,400 and could not pay my mortgage. That's and that's what before taxes. So that it's a 3-tier system. Mm-hmm. We sell to distributors. Distributors sells to bars, restaurants, and liquor stores, and then they sell it to you. So if you break that down, it's usually like a 30% margin on each one of those. So yeah, we have to do volume to make money.
Who do you got your distributors through?
In Nashville, we were DET.
Who are you with?
Ajax.
It's different in different markets in different states. Like in Memphis, we with Empire.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but really the best thing is the thing that we trying to do to equalize all that is online. Because online helps us reach. We can reach 44 states or 45 states. And that becomes an equalizer. We can talk. I can sell to people in Idaho or New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with your, I know I've talked with Mike about this. Do you have certain barrels that you get from Kentucky, or you have certain barrels you get from just wherever?
Yeah. So we come from Iowa. Like we've been Iowa based from day one. And I like the people there. The corn there is amazing, and the water.
Shout out to Iowa.
Shout out to Iowa. We used to have on that Tippers can, we had straight out of Iowa on the side of it. And I like to tell that part of the story because a lot of people don't tell where they get their stuff from. But though I wouldn't be here without the people that took the time to show me what I took the time to show Mike. He'll take the time to show you. We start that lineage that way. So yeah, Iowa is where we.
That's called basically what we were talking about earlier about gatekeeping.
Gate opening, dog. Yeah.
Keep that gate open.
Keep the gate open.
Hey, we better than 7-Eleven.
You hear me? Open all day.
Yeah, but
Well, Mike, let me ask you. If you don't mind sharing, your barrels, are yours completely here or?
Mine is 100% Tennessee. So, with Jason has a whiskey. I have a bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So, to differentiate, all bourbon is whiskey. All whiskey is not bourbon. So, to make it make sense, picture Tennessee as whiskey. And let's say Memphis is only bourbon. So, to make it make sense. So, different set of rules, from whiskey and bourbon. Whiskey is minimum 2 years. Bourbon is minimum 4 years.
Okay.
For the aging process, I can't recycle my barrels, but he can. So, but to that point, like he said, his batches are different because he using different barrels or whatever. He chooses not to recycle. So the batch is gonna always be different from the other batch. With me, that's a requirement. So when people, ask me about my product, from first, second, third or whatever, it's really a completely different product, but it's still along the same lines as the flavor profile, the technology, it's in the aging and all that. So mine is $64.99, $59.99, but as he just broke it down, we only getting maybe 30% at best.
People think y'all rich. You got your own liquor.
We ain't say we weren't rich.
Yeah, we didn't.
Never said we ain't say we weren't rich.
We just
telling
what's
you.
our cut.
We just talking about the whiskey.
We just talking about the whiskey.
And
what's the whiskey, man?
Yeah.
So no disrespect to like any brand that sells at the 300 or the 200.
Yeah.
Just know what I'm saying. It's we all getting our stuff from somewhere. It's the story, but also like quality dictates all that.
Can y'all talk on, it's best for you guys to go buy it from the store instead out the back of my trunk?
Oh, yeah, I don't even got no trunk.
I don't have a trunk. I don't bootleg.
Okay.
I don't have a trunk.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be the store. The place.
Yeah, it be in store.
I'm gonna say this though too about Reverence. People don't really know just how special Reverence is. Like, and unfortunately for them, when they catch on, they gonna have missed some opportunities to actually engage with this brand. Because what makes Frazier special, he only does a run a year. He only makes 1,500 bottles. So if you have one of those original bottles, they'll never have that again. I buy a case of each each one, and I make them sign them.
Yeah.
Because I already know what it's gonna be. Like the fact that he like that process that he was telling you about, the barrels that he chooses, where he gets them from, making sure that they 4 years. Like he won't put anything out early, and you can taste it in the flavor, right? You can taste it in the. I remember when it first came out, it came out the barrel at like
121.
Like 121. I was there. We tasted it, and it was great then. Now 121 now, you could still you could taste the flavor was.
Now, matter of fact, it was 124, 62% alcohol, so 124 proof.
Crazy.
Gasoline.
With the best
With the
flavor,
best flavor.
with the best, and I was surprised, right? Because I'm like, okay, this finna knock my socks out, and it was delicious. So when they proof it down, this is definitely one of my favorite bourbons of all time, even if I didn't know Frazier, right? But what we able to witness here, you got a true Tennessee kid from Memphis, went to a HBCU, Tennessee State. I mean, pledged the only fraternity I ever heard of.
The only.
You know what I'm saying? Omega Psi Phi. Became a first responder. You know what I'm saying? Fireman. And makes bourbon from Tennessee bourbon. This is the most eclectic story of any brand I know based in the state. And that's even over I'm not from here. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in Alabama. So I champion the product, but it's the story is really not a story, it's actually a life. You know what I mean? Like if you want to drink Tennessee, drink Reverence. So, and I think a lot of folks will figure that out later when somebody come along and do a documentary, and then they'll be rushing to try to do all this stuff. But y'all can still see this man right now. He's amongst us right now. So it's not support when you actually buy Reverence, because he's actually giving you something. Like it's a even exchange.
Right.
So
'cause we talked about this once before, man. How me and Mike connected. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in that same conversation, when we first connected, one Friday night, I purchased some of his cigars to put on the trailer. And at the same time, I was like, hey, I need to get Jason cigars.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, I got them the same night or sometime within that week. But I hear a lot of folks, they always say, hey, how can I get in contact with y'all? I'm like, usually I say, man, social media. I ain't giving no phone numbers out. So,
yeah.
But, yeah.
info@guidance.whiskey.com and I'm glad you brought up social media. Okay, so for everybody who hits up Guidance Whiskey on Instagram, you are not talking to me. I do not run the Guidance Instagram. Okay, and that's
likewise,
and that's for a reason, right? Like I have other businesses and things, but info@guidancewhiskey.com or real relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you know somebody that really know me, talk to them. They'll put you in touch with me for real, and it might take a little time, but
right.
I mean that's if I already don't know you, it would be somebody hitting you up that you don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have a family, I have a business, I got mama, all of these things. So, but we do want to help. And since then, we've gotten better at it because now we can send you a template, some preliminary questions and things to kind of help you on your way. And now I got it where I can send you everything you actually really need to do it yourself. So if I'm taking too long and you got to have it today, I send you a list. And you can start hitting those things because you're going to need a business license. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the people want to talk about brand names, colors, and bottles, but they don't even have a business license. And
Right.
that starts everything.
Structure
In a system.
And we talk about all you got to do to get that business license going is go online.
You hear
Or
me?
you can go right over here to the Howard School building.
Yep. You're going to need an EIN. You're going to need all these things because there is paperwork in this business. If you do not like paperwork, then you're going to need a partner or a service that does paperwork because they will penalize you if you don't have your paperwork in order.
and
What's some of that paperwork?
so just to give y'all education, all the paperwork he's talking about, I paid nobody to do mine. I did mine on the trail, so LLC, EIN, business tax license. You got to register with the TTB, which is the federal government for tobacco and beverage. You got to, depend on the state. We in Tennessee, it's the Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commission. You got to register with them as a wholesaler representative.
Yep.
You just contracting. You're a non-manufacturing wholesaler. So
Got to register the
you got
brand.
to register the brand with the distillery. You got to register your label. Your label has to go up for federal hearing because you take a liquor bottle, you see the government warning. You don't have that government warning on there, you're getting thrown out. You got to start over from scratch to the back of the line. You don't have your ABV and your percentage and your proof. You get kicked out, got to throw it to the back of the line. With a bourbon, if you less than 4 years, you got to have an age statement. You lie about that, get kicked out, got to go to the back of the line. I never got put to the back of the line. So,
and that's the part that people, like when they be in such a rush, they don't want to hear, like what we saying, that's the part they don't want to hear. They want to, or if they say they got money, right? They just want to throw some money and be like, how I get in. And bro, this stuff actually really takes time because you're not rushing the TTB.
Because that one application, the main one, the TTB, it took me 8 months to get back. And like I said, I passed it on the first time. So that's 8 months. So,
Your label getting submitted. Like we had to change, like, yeah.
So after those 8 months, I was able to apply for those other licenses. So can't get one without the other. So people get discouraged because it's taking too long, but honestly, it's a test of patience. Because at the end of the day, this is a test of patience. It's an aging process. So you got to play with the same thing as your paperwork side.
So I could be I'm probably a little dumbfounded when I'm gonna say this, but I know you said yours is 4 year.
5 years. It's 5 years now.
5 years.
Minimum,
Okay.
Minimum got to be 4 years.
Minimum 4. So say if it was 20 or 15, is it the strength or is it just?
It's gonna be what the barrel produced, man. Like you can age something for 50 years and don't mean it's gonna be good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why they taste it along the way.
Gotcha.
Like nature is you doing barrel, that's nature. You taking wood, you taking basically you putting liquid inside a tree.
Everything starts off clear.
Yeah.
So you won't know until 4 years what it tastes like. So you go into a distillery, they making stuff every day. It's not being made to produce and be bottled same day. Same year. It's for
later.
4 year, 5. It's almost like the stock market. You buy stock not to make money tomorrow. It's for the long term tomorrow, 4 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take the same pace and the same mindset and intention with spirits. You know what I'm saying? So when people get those 10, 15, 20 years, I've had some, no disrespect to any brand that does that, but number one, you decrease volume. Then number two, if it's not good, it's not gonna sell. So you see these $200 and $300 bottles that's 10, 15 years old, you gotta start thinking. If you knew what I knew, you would think like that when you see these 10 and 15, like why it took so long. And why it's $300, why it's only 100 bottles or 200 bottles.
Gotta put a gimmick on it, dog.
Yeah, so
you gotta put a gimmick on it.
I put y'all on game about these older whiskeys. No disrespect to nobody, but I put mine up against anybody. People tell it, but it's really the game with it. You know what I'm saying? I probably won't choose to do that. If I do, you're gonna know it's a fire product. I've tasted up until that point.
Up until the point, yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, it's trying to. And plus, you can do some of this stuff just to do it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these places do it just to see. You know what I mean? Because you got to think the foresight to have something 5 years from now.
Right.
What do you do in between those 5 years? I met a gentleman, I can't remember his name. He has a tequila that's, I think it's like 5 years, aged 5 or 6 years tequila. And he actually started his business and did not sell anything for 6 years. He put it in the barrels and waited. And I said, what did you do in between that time? And he said, I played a lot of golf. Some people, it's all your personal design of what you want to do around your thing. So even when you create your spirit, you'll create it how you want it to and create it to your personality. That way, like, the first motto of guidance when we made it was, if you don't drink it, we will. Because we made something that we actually like ourselves.
Right.
So if you make something that you like and that your circle like, I guarantee you can find some other people that have your same taste. But if you get out here and you start trying to make what he like and what she like and what they like, and then you're going to be double dutching your business for the rest, and you're going to go through a lot of money.
I am going to say this, though, and this is offline. Shout out to Agechi.
Shout out to Ogechi, for sure.
If you haven't had her wine, Twisted Sisters, right?
Twisted Sisters.
Twisted Sisters.
Because Mike told me this a while back. It's like you guys are we trying to make the Black Avengers.
Oh yeah, we got a nice little team, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, don't have a rum, but we will. Don't have a beer, but we will. Don't have water. Well, we do got. We got nonprofit, but any other beverage we're gonna have, and pretty much the framework we're laying out is collaboration over everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Collective. You don't get one without the other.
And also, we had talked about before going on camera today about sponsorship. If anyone's out there, and you've gotten this far in the podcast and you want to sponsor us, please feel free to reach out to us, because we could use it.
Take a lot to do this. And if you have a product or a business that you want highlighted in return, I think that's this platform is only going to grow. And I think it would be awesome to get eyes for any product through this platform.
So once again, if you have a product and you want to be on the PSSITA Podcast, reach out to us. We'll make it happen.
So Jay, man, tell us, it's the turn of the year. It's 25. What can we look forward to on guidance specifically? And then we also got to announce for y'all, we have something going on, but what does guidance have coming down the pipe for 25 that you can share?
And let's just say 24 was a year. And
guidance. Close to that, bro. I can attest to that. 24 was a year.
24 was a year. 24 was a year. And I feel like I learned a lot. Actually, I know I learned a lot. And I think that's going to be relevant in what you see from guidance. The first thing I say for guidance in 2025 is no sponsorships. Right? No sponsorships. Only strategic partnerships. Only.
Can you elaborate?
Oh yeah. So all the emails people send us like, hey, can you sponsor this? Can you sponsor that? Can you send this? Can you send that? The answer will be not at this time. So if you see this video, you'll know we are not interested in giving away our product at all. You can thank my accountant for that. We sat down and looked at the books, and this is, I don't even know just the platform to say, but we looked at the books and we gave away so much product last year and donated so much product, and the numbers didn't match. So as a business, I have to refine that and turn it into things that strategically make revenue for the businesses that are involved. So what's a strategic partnership, right? Like if you gonna pay me in exposure, I'm gonna pay you back in exposure, right? If you say you can get me, look, give us this and we can get you in front of these many people, I'm gonna tell you, give me your thing and I can get you in front of just as many people because we have that. But if it's something that is revenue based, then there needs to be revenue through the whole thing. And that's my business, that's from the business side. On the guidance side, on the product side, we are gonna drop whiskey this year, closer to the summer, so I'm excited about that. And anybody who's had whiskey is gonna be super, super excited about that. We are expanding into other countries, and we're doing some stuff in the Bahamas. We're doing some stuff in France. I just got back from Asia. Global. And where I am, guidance goes. I've launched a whole collective called Guidance House Collective, Guidance House C, which will house all of our entertainment, so our music, our art, our fashion, all of those things will be housed on that side. And we have several events coming up with that. But those things are going to be intimate, where you've seen bigger things from Guidance, like packing out the W and all that stuff. In 2025, you're going to see very, very intimate settings. 10 people, 15, 20, 50 at the most, where we can actually start to engage more with the people who love our brand. More impact. And it's funner for me, man. Like, in a room full of 300 people, I'm talking like, yep, and I barely get to enjoy the show and the music and the thing, because we curate great things. So I want to be a part of, I want to live this life too. It's not I was talking the other day to our team, and we are not a lifestyle brand. We are a life brand. This is the way we really live. You know what I mean? It's not a style. We're not portraying something to get you to think that we're like this, to like us, to then want to be like something that you think we are. We do this every day for real. I know y'all be at Casa every day. I know y'all be at Casa every day. So Guidance is a life brand, and we gonna push more into that, which will be more vulnerable for me, because folks will get a really chance to see a little bit more of myself.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it because it'll be in a more enclosed environment.
And just to piggyback off that, to the crowd, we all friends, but for the most part, if y'all don't know, we launched our inaugural Sundress Cigars Festival last year.
So
y'all missed it. This year is gonna be called PSSITA Fest. Sundress edition. So we already released the date, July 10th through the 12th. Be on the lookout for more details. It's the PSSITA Fest, the Sundress edition, by yours truly, Rolling Humidor. Of course, Guidance is on that. Culture Cigars. We got a few other brands that we'll announce as the time goes on, but want to let y'all know to put that on y'all calendar. Y'all see the 3 people that's a part of that right here before your eyes. So July 10th through the 12th.
But I want to end on this though.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I have to end on this. I might be saying the days wrong, but is it 21 days of Jason?
21 days of Jason.
How did that come to fruition?
21 days of Jason. My birthday is November 21st.
Okay.
All right. And what happened was, after I graduated, my friends all lived in different states. And what I would do during my birthday month is I would go to a different city and throw a different party every weekend. So if I had homies that lived in Atlanta, we'd throw a party in Atlanta, one in Vegas. We throw one in Atlanta, one in Vegas, one in New York, and one in Europe, one in Alabama. Like every year, we throw a different party in a different city, and it was some of the craziest, wildest times we ever had. As I got further along in life, you know, you can't do it like you used to do it, and maybe you can't. Maybe you shouldn't do it like you used to do it. But I started to take in introspective, man, just like what life really means. And I was realizing that my own happiness, I wasn't paying attention to at all in the course of a year. Like if I looked at a year's time, I spent most of that time either helping my family or being my family or helping my friends. And I never really started to take into account what actually really made me happy. So what it has become and what it is now, still a lot of fun and we still do a lot of events, but now I do one thing every day that makes me happy for 21 days. You know, it takes 3 weeks for something to become a habit. So I focus on that. And it can be big. It could be something like a hot air balloon in Morocco, but it also can be a call to a friend that I ain't talked to in a year. It can be going for ice cream. It can be going to volunteer. But when I do it, I'm clearly thinking I'm doing this because it makes me happy. And the way that my birthday is positioned, Thanksgiving is always after that. So you take 3 weeks of focusing on your own happiness and joy, and then you go right into Thanksgiving, which is gratitude. And I've been lucky enough for people to catch on to that and to do it for themselves. It's called the 21 Days of Jason, but people take those 21 days during themselves, even if they take 5 or 6 of them, and focus on them and doing the little things that we kind of forgot to do. Man, this year, I actually started cooking dinner again, which is something that I hadn't done in forever and forgot just like what that felt like.
Yeah.
To actually just make my own meal and then sit down with my children and eat. So 21 Days of Jason, it's all of those things rolled up into one, and this year will be no different. We plan to add some stuff to it. What I like though during the 21 days is if the PSSITA Podcast can host one of those nights. Because I've never done a smoker's night during that time, and I think it would be dope.
It's done already.
Done.
It's done?
Yeah.
You heard it. You heard them now. So
Done.
during the 21 days, you're going to look for the smoke night, the PSSITA night, and we gonna light it up. And I think maybe by then there might be even a cool place to do it at.
Stay tuned. With that being said, this is episode 9. I'm Corey. I'm one half of the Rolling Humidor.
I'm Mike Frazier, owner of Reverence Bourbon, and we appreciate you, Jason, coming through. Spend some time with us, putting a stick in there, sipping some good bourbon always. And y'all be on the lookout for everything guidance. Follow guidance at Guidance Whiskey, guidancewhiskey.com.
Sure.
Also follow us at the Rolling Humidor Instagram. Follow Reverence Bourbon on Instagram as well. My website is Reverence Enterprises. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the PSSITA Podcast on IG and YouTube as PSSITA_podcast. Like I said, guys, July 10th through the 12th, PSSITA Fest. Be on the lookout. Tickets will be on sale soon. As we always say, peace. Keep putting smoke in there.
Peace.